What's up guys, this is Miasin, and today we're going to be going over the best engines that you can play right now in Yu-Gi-Oh! So post-Alliance Inside, but also pre-Duelist Advance. There's only one YCS where this will be relevant, and it's YCS Keto going on this weekend. Well, I mean this next weekend, so yeah, whatever. So no week, basically. And yeah, there's also a couple of regionals and stuff like that. Honestly, I hate this format, but that's another story for another day. I will be making a video on why that is the case very soon, so stay tuned. But yeah, there's obviously still a lot of things that you can do right now, so it's not like the game is complete garbage or anything, even though I am not the biggest fan. But yeah, anyways, before we go any further, you already know the drill, smash the like and subscribe button, but also, most importantly, check out my Blue Eyes and Crystron spreadsheet. You can find both of them on my website, yacineygo.com. Very first link at the top of the description box below, as always. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, so we got 5 categories, the ones that are must play in my opinion, the ones that are great options, but overall, they're not as good as the best ones, the ones that are alright, they're not garbage, but they're not great, the ones that are probably not worth playing, but they're not like utter garbage, and the ones that are actual trash. So the first one is the Brave Token Engine. It's okay in Crystron, but it's never like insane because it still plays a huge amount of bricks. But the main thing that I think this engine is good at, it's not even making Griffin Rider, but it's really just the fact that you can easily make Cherubini because the Water Enchantress is a level 3 that can special summon itself. And then even if you like normal summon a hand trap or something, that still gets you to like Crystron combo. And that's actually really cool. But apart from that, yeah, it's just too many bricks to do what you're trying to do. And that's the only thing really keeping this engine away from being good. Because if you didn't have to play, you know, the Equip Spell or Fatefold or Griffin Rider, it would probably be one of the best engines in the game by a long shot, actually. But yeah, whatever. Brilliant Fusion Engine, or I guess Gem Knight Engine, whatever. It's just not good without the new Gem Knight monsters. So yeah, it's definitely going to be in the LMAO section. It's really just a one-of. And unless you're playing the Predaplant engine, then this is even worse. And yes, no, it is nowhere to be found here because realistically, nobody has tried playing with those cards in quite a while. Melodius Engine is probably going to be in the great option, but very, like, definitely at the bottom. It's always been the kind of engine that has, like, been worth playing, either in, like, Razul or Snake Eye back in the days, or whatever. Maybe Melodius Fmith, that could even make sense. So it's not even like you have to, like, commit to, like, a lot of Melodius cards. And the fact that most cards in the engine are 1-card starters, that's actually pretty cool. So yeah, obviously you've got, like, 6 cards that are, like, 1-card rank 4s, or cards that can pop off. Ostinato can bait Ash so that your actual engine can resolve. But it's also a lot of commitment, because you do have to play a lot of Melodious monsters, and they're not great to draw, usually, unless you draw like one refrain and nothing else, but yeah, it's maybe not like the best, so I think it's gonna stay at the bottom for now. Okay, Mitsurugi Engine, I mean, it's not like super splashable, but obviously if your deck can play this, then it has a huge advantage for playing it. Razul Mitsurugi got a huge boost because the new Mitsurugi cards are just so incredibly good at increasing the consistency level of the deck. Now, like, Habakiri obviously is like a 1-card combo. It means that Aramasa is like a 1-card combo as well. And Prayers is a 1-card combo because, I mean, obviously all those cards before, they didn't really do anything on their own. I mean, Habakiri and Aramasa didn't exist, but whatever. You understand what I'm trying to say. It's a great engine. You can also play pure Mitsurugi, or you can play Mitsurugi Fiendsmith, or maybe Mitsurugi Melodius. I don't even know. But you can honestly try a lot of things. It's a fantastic engine. And every deck that can play it usually gets a huge, considerable advantage. Goblin Biker, yeah, that's also like an alright engine. It's been played in like Memento and even like Malice and stuff like that. Just making Cherubini and then dumping like a Malice monster and then like Haggard Lizardos or SP banish it. And then you play from there. But it's not really convincing to me. And it's alright against like Razul Detonator and stuff like that. But it's not like super broken or anything. So I think just being there is fine enough. If Purely ever becomes like top tier, then yeah, this is definitely going to be a great engine. It's not like the cards are bad or anything. It's just that it's not like in the best position it could be right now. Because the cards also, they don't have like the best value against like non-Xyz based strategies. And also it's just a lot of normal summons or extenders that are only extenders when there is an Xyz on the field. But when there is none, like I said, it becomes infinitely less good. The Toei engine is not worth playing. It's not garbage or anything. It's just that in the White Forest deck, you don't have to play it anymore. You can play the Fiendsmith engine, which I think is much, much, much better. Or you can just play with the new White Forest cards and completely ignore the existence of this engine whatsoever. But I think when we're going to be getting the new Dark Magician of Destruction, we're going to be able to search Magician Souls super easily. And being able to go Magician Souls, pitch the 2 toy cards that you set off of a toy tank, whatever, toy box, that's actually just completely cracked. You draw 2 cards, and then you revive back 2 monsters, and then Soldier searches a level 4 light monster, and could be anything. There's like infinite things that you can do with this engine, obviously with Magician Soul. So I think it's a really cool engine in the future. It has insane potential, but right now it's just not really worth playing just because White Force doesn't need it anymore. Even though, like, that was the deck where it shined the brightest. Nemesis Engine is also alright. I mean, it has seen a top from, I think it was Carl Manigat at YCS Providence, top 32 with like pure Razul and the Nemesis Engine. I mean, Protoss is obviously always going to be an insane card. You call Dark or Light, and yeah, you're actually, you call Dark right now, for sure calling Dark, because that shuts down the whole Malice deck and also all the Mitsurugi cards. But obviously when you call Light, then you shut down pretty much all the Razul cards, because then there is no X Razul, no Ice, and you can't special summon it, but you can still normal summon it, I believe. And you can't make Detonator, and Excite on Night, and the Fmith Engine. So yeah, Light and Dark, Alpha Protoss, and you win. It's really just one card, though. So if your deck doesn't need to play this engine just to abuse Protoss, then it's not needed. I can think of Razul, basically any deck that can make Infernal Flame Banshee, and then you just SP yourself, and then you go Nemesis Flag, you know, search Protoss, etc. That's really nice. So yeah, it's still like an okay engine just because of one card. Runic Engine, I think, is trash overall, because what are you gonna do? Activate Runic Destruction, banish 4 of your opponent's cards. Oh, look at this! White Rabbit, Dormouse, Chessy Cat, and Hare. Fantastic. You just made your opponent go +4 because of your card. That's absolutely pathetic. So I think it just, like, in the absolute worst position it could be right now, only because of Malice. That's it, that's all. I still think the cards are good. Razul Engine, I mean, I'm talking about Razul as an engine and not as a deck. It's not the same thing. As an engine, I don't even think it's like super popular or anything. Voice Razul has never really been like a big thing. I can't think of like a single deck that really utilizes this as like a small microscopic engine. Usually it's like a big, I mean, it's pretty much like all the Razul cards except for like plug-in and stuff like that, and then it's like another engine on top, but it's not usually the other way around. Anyways, Bestial Engine, it's actually not as great as it was like before, because now there's only one Druisworm, and also Bestials are now great against Malice, and Malice is gaining a lot in popularity. Why would you play useless cards against them? However, Regained is broken against Malice, so then again, there's also a card that is good against them. But then again, like, are you also trying to search like the shit Bestials with Lubellion, like Baldrake and Saronir? I don't know about that. That's like kind of the issue. Like, this engine becomes broken when you got a lot of copies of like the good Bestials, like a lot of Druisworm, a lot of Magnamotes, but there's only one of the best 2 Bestials out there, so just because of that, it's really hard for me to like justify it being better. But it's still good against Mitsurugi, so, you know, there definitely is some merit behind playing the Bestial Engine still. Mathmech Engine is not worth whatsoever, too many bricks, and actually I think if anything, it's even worse than the Toy Engine. Bro, that's like 3 bricks that you're adding to your deck. It's 4 monsters, 4 cards, well, 3 monsters, 1 trap. Circular is like fine to draw, and then everything else is dog shit, literally. Primite Engine is incredible. It's not a must play, but it's very good. Like, there are a lot of decks that can play this in theory. Obviously, Blue Eyes and Primite Fmith are by far the best decks at utilizing this engine, because, you know, 1 Primite card is like 2 monsters on the field, or, you know, you search Roar and then you summon the Pity from your deck, and then that's also Fmith combo. Or in the Blue Eyes deck, then your Barrel, even if it gets impermed, then it still makes the Link 1, and then you can still play from there. So when your deck gets like extra utility off of the cards, then it's good. Otherwise, when it's really just all you care about, like the recursion or whatever, it's just not enough. Because you also have to play a normal monster in your deck, so it's kind of like how the Brave Token Engine, it becomes worse because you gotta play, you know, unfortunate trash cards in it. However, I will reiterate the fact that if the normal monster they were playing is something like the Pity, which is a level 4 Light Fiend, then all of a sudden it's completely fine, because, you know, it's actually a 1-card combo on its own, which is fantastic. It's almost OTK. It's crazy, man. Anyways, the, what's his, Millennium Engine. Sorry, I almost died. Actually, I'm still dying. Yeah, this engine is really nice. There's a lot of, decks that can utilize it, like Yubel and Snake Eye, right? Those are like the 2 last decks that I saw using this engine. You can make Zombie Vampire super easily, and then you can make Photon Lord, Snake Eye's Doom Dragon. You can break boards with it. So yeah, if you don't mind paying like 4,000 to 6,000 life points, I think it's a cool engine. But there, again, I've talked about it a lot in the past, and yeah, there's nothing new about it. Armor Xyz, actually that's trash. That's just garbage. Branded Engine, I mean, it's gonna be good eventually, but right now I can't think of like a single real fusion deck, so no, it's not really good. Shaddoll Fusion Engine, I mean, it's actually not garbage against Raziel. Sending Ariel is still decent. And then, yeah, you summon App Cologne. It's fine. I've never really put too much thought into it either, but I don't think it's going to be in the alright section either. I still think it's like a not worth package because it's like only in the side deck because if you draw Shuttle Fusion when you're going first, you kind of look stupid. And there's also like a couple of bricks, like you gotta play 3 Shuttle Fusion with like 2 other monsters, and then you gotta play the Fusion monsters. Yeah, it's not super worth it, unfortunately. Unchained Engine, it's very niche. It's only good in like a few decks, so I think it's probably gonna be there. Here or there. Actually, yeah, no. Yama is broken, and also Sharvara and Unchained Soul of Rage. Ubel Engine, yeah, it's not super popular, and I don't think a lot of people are playing it. And also, just like with the Shuttle package, it's like 3 good cards, like 3 Nightmare Throne, and I guess Terraforming, and then 2 bricks, so the 2 Ubel monsters, which again is very unfortunate. All of that just so that you can beat like a hand shot because you summon Phantom of Ubel. It's not garbage. Like the Despia deck kind of used to like test with this engine, and it wasn't like trash, but you really have to like take full advantage of like the body that you're generating as well. Like if you're playing this in like a Fiendsmith deck, maybe it's not too bad, but otherwise it's really not worth. Shark Engine in like Razuel and stuff. There's no Bahamut into Toad, so you're really just making duo drives. And I don't think it's enough. Or I can make like the Star Leech Photon Blast so that your opponent cannot target your duo drive, which really doesn't matter because people are playing like a lot of turn skips right now. But I still think it's alright if you're trying to play pure Razuel. There's this and like the spirit monsters that you can play. Then again, pure Razuel maybe not the best option right now for you. I think Razuel Mitsurugi and Razuel Fiendsmith are miles ahead, just more consistent because they have other engines to rely on so that they can get their play started. The Punk engine is not worth right now, but it's actually going to become very good very soon because the new support that we're going to be getting alongside Dragon Maid and Orcus. So I will be revisiting this, but for now, it is not really worth playing. Fiendsmith engine, yeah, that's a bomb. That's actually insanely good. And by the way, I actually think low-key that the Fiendsmith engine got better recently because a lot of people are playing the turn skip hand traps. Like, Perilia does nothing against the Fiendsmith engine. Like, you activate Tract, you can make 3 disruptions by giving 0 draws to your opponent. That is absolutely fantastic. And obviously into, like, Furos, this engine is not, like, trash because you still play Paradise. So on your opponent's turn, you go, okay, you make Requiem on your own turn, you give your opponent 1 draw, and then on your opponent's turn, you summon the Lacrima, you send Paradise, and then, you know, that's still a disruption, which is completely fine. But yeah, no, I just think it's a very well-rounded engine. It doesn't play, like, a lot of bricks. The only issue is, like, redundancy issues. Like, if you start drawing Engraver and Tract, it's not the best. But then again, you can also just use Tract, and then you combo, you don't lose too hard to draw. And then when you have your Necrocrypt Princess on the field, then you can use Engraver to search another Tract. And then Necrocrypt can draw a card. So even then, it's not too bad. And also, it opens up the door to Light and Dark Chaos Angel, which is a win condition against Razuel Mitsurugi. So I think you can have actually a better chance at winning if you play the Fiendsmith engine than the Mitsurugi engine sometimes. It depends on the environment and on your deck, but I think this is extremely slept on considering how good it is against the top decks actually, and the recursion that it gives you is actually insane. It's a better engine than the Primate engine for sure, but obviously not in decks like Blue Eyes. In Blue Eyes, then I think this is still better. Anyways, Ogdoatic, I don't really have much to say about it because I don't know much about it, but whatever. Danger Engine, I mean, it's only really good against Razuel because you play Chaotic Elements, and then you search Danger Nessie, and then you use the graveyard effect of Chaotic Elements to, you know, steal a monster your opponent controls. That's the only real appeal to playing Danger Nessie and perhaps like Tsuchinoko and Jackalope. But then again, you can also play it in Crystron, because if you have like 2 Nessie, then you can make Dragosack into Cherubini. Or with Tsuchinoko and Jackalope, you can just make Cherubini right away. So if you play a bunch of level 3 hand traps like Ash, Bell, Ogre, Reaper, whatever, then it potentially could work, or Mourner. So you get the point, but it's very niche, and it also means that you can't really play hand traps, because then if you discard hand traps to draw into hand traps off of the danger, it's really awkward. Or you can draw into like board breakers if you go first when you're playing board breakers, or when you're going second, then you start drawing into hand traps. It makes no sense, honestly. This engine was better when Yu-Gi-Oh was the kind of game where you could break your opponent's board just with engine. But nowadays, it's really just all about non-engine, and with an engine like Danger cards, you just need a lot of cards to be able to play, because obviously they're going to be getting sniped very often, so you're not going to be resolving them to draw cards, which defeats the purpose of playing them in the first place. Anyway, Sky Striker engine, it's actually not bad at all. Even right now, it's not bad, but it's about to become like insane when we're going to be getting Sky Striker Ace 0, I think that's the name. Yeah, I can search Engage right away, and you can also just play Ray in your deck now. But yeah, I will be revisiting this just like the, what's his face? Punk Engine very soon, so yeah, again, stay tuned. Cashira Engine, I actually low-key think this is a must-play. If your deck can play it. I think this is insanely broken, but to be fair, no, actually, I have to be realistic, because there's still a considerable gap between Mitsurugi and Fmith engines and Cashira Engine. Like, this still loses to Perulia, whereas this doesn't lose to Perulia, and it's still fine into Horus, and this technically doesn't really lose too hard to, like, Perulia. It's not, like, the end of the world, but it loses pretty hard to Horus, and it loses mega hard to Drill and Logbird. That's, like, the big problem. But then when you're not getting hand trapped, this is, like, the most powerful engine. Whereas this, the ceiling level is much lower, but it also has less flaws. But then again, there's also, like, redundancy issues. Like, if you draw, like, 2 Fenrir, it's pretty bad. Like, 2 Unicorn can be, like, mediocre. But if you play the Draco Sack package, then that's 6 disruptions in the Crystron deck, for example, which is very good. So yeah, I mean, I still think this is insane, and obviously when you are resolving Birth against the Mitsurugi engine, it feels impossible to lose, right? Like, yeah, let's banish your Mitsurugi Ritual and the 2 monsters used for Fusion Material, or let's use Unicorn to banish your Detonator, your Exciton Knight, so that you can never break my board. It feels really nice, so yeah, Cashira cards are absolutely goated. Alistair package, it's actually not bad. If you're playing it in like a weird concoction deck, like Fmith, Cashira, Alistair, the Invoker, it's a weird like brew of a deck. I have seen it compete relatively decently at like a national or something recently. That's the reason why I'm ranking it an alright. I mean, it's not trash or anything. It's still normal summon Alistair effect. Like, what do you expect? It's not like you can do like the most insane things out there. But then again, it's a good normal summon. It's very similar to like normal summon barrel effect. It's because both of them only get their effects on normal summon, but this also gets its effect when it's flipped up, which is very weird. The Horus engine is actually very nice, and this has already also been seeing play in the Crystron deck thanks to Steven Santoli. He reached out to me before the YCS, by the way, so I actually knew he was playing this. Shoutouts to him if you're watching this. Shoutouts to you. But yeah, the Horus engine is, I think, quite interesting because there are things that it can do that the Cashira engine cannot do for Crystron. So, for example, against the Mitsurugi engine, this just wipes the floor with them because Imseti, Horus, and Imseti, Happy, and Duamutef, with the 3 Horus monsters that you're going to be playing, they're not going to die by Murakumo's Regeki effect, which obviously is good for you. And if anything, you actually thrive off the Regeki effect because when they try to destroy your monsters, obviously they don't die because of King Sarcophagus, preventing your opponent from destroying your Horus monsters with card effects that do not target them very specifically, and obviously Murakuma doesn't target, so it's not going to destroy. But also, it's going to start triggering Imseti, Happy, Duamutef, so you draw 3 cards, you recycle back 2 cards, Imseti is going to send something to the grave. It's just absolutely insane. And because of King Sarcophagus, even when your opponent's monsters are stronger, you're still always going to make them go to the graveyard. And that deck doesn't actually have too many ways of dealing with King Sarcophagus. Like, it's actually really problematic. If you refuse to use card effects while they have Detonator on the field, then they will never be able to chain Detonator to destroy your Sark, so they have to make, like, Tornado Dragon, which not everybody plays. And yeah, like I said, this deck doesn't have, well, Razul Mitsurugi or whatever, it doesn't have, like, too many ways of, like, dealing with spells and traps overall. So I think this is definitely something that could work in your favor. If you go first and you resolve Imseti successfully, it's really hard to lose, I'm not gonna lie. It's very similar to like just summoning Unicorn and Fenrir, and then your opponent just doesn't do anything about it. It's like, okay, now Birth just destroys you. Like I said, there are flaws to like this engine as well. For example, the fact that you're playing more bricks, because Happy, Duamutef, they're terrible to draw. Like, there's really just no reason why you're ever going to try to draw those cards. Unless you have like Imseti and Sark, then it's completely fine. Then Sarcophagus is also not the best to draw. Like, Imseti is still by far the best. And the worst part about this engine is that it is abysmal going second into big Malice boards or Razul boards. Just like the Cashira cards are just not enough, but Fenrir is actually very good into half boards. This isn't, because when you go Imseti effect, pitch something, and then search your Sark, when you get hit by a Detonator, then it is the end of the world, because now your Sark dies, and you basically went neg 1, I guess you can say, because you still drew a card, so it's not too bad. And also, the card that you discard, it has value usually, because you're playing in Crystron. If you're trying to play this in another deck, honestly, I don't know, but Crystron best deck, so that's the reason why I'm going on this super long tangent. Anyways, Phantom Knight, I mean, shoutouts to Micah. Is it even an engine? Is it a deck or an engine? I don't even know, but I'm just gonna place it there just because Micah's probably watching, and yeah, this deck is cool, I guess. Metal Morph, dog shit, very bad actually. This is like overhyped garbage that is like super shitty. and does nothing good for you. I don't understand why people even consider it. It's so bad. Azamina Engine, without a shadow of a doubt, a decent one. I mean, it's great in White Forest. I was probably gonna have to put it there, actually. It's great in White Forest, and I guess you can say, oh, some Crystron players, they like to play Crystron Cashira Azamina, but it's really just because the Bellstar is a level 7, so that if you have like a Cashira and the Bellstar, then you make Draco Sack, and you also have like your Omni Negate, so that, you know, you can start doing things, but, well, start negating Handshaps very specifically. But the card, like the Sinful Spools cards, they don't do anything for you, right? Whereas in the White Forest deck, they actually do something. So that's the reason why I think this is better in like in its own lore, whereas as a splashable engine, it's not as good, unfortunately. A lot of like trash cards that people are playing to make it like less garbage, like Morian, for example, the Book of Moon, just stop. If you're not, again, if you're not playing White Forest, it's really just not worth it for the most part, but it's still okay. Silhouette Rabbit, I mean, it's actually kind of cool. It's not bad in Odeon and Eldritch and stuff like that. So it's nice, and it's also technically kind of generic, so I do like it. And at any moment, this could randomly just become broken, by the way. So I think this is always going to remain a great option. Like, regardless of the format, it's very low commitment. It's only one card in the extra deck and one shop card, and it's like two bodies that generate 2 interruptions. Like, you destroy a spell and shop, and then you have like a Solemn Warning. And also, it makes your end board more layered. So if you're scared of Dark Ruler, then at least you're getting a shop card, so it's not the end of the world. Anyways, Danger Tsuchinoko, or rather the Danger Engine, it's already there, so I don't even know why this is here. And a Dear Servant, I guess you can play this in like Mitsurugi, it's fine. And you can play it in other decks. I mean, it's not trash actually. It's whatever. Ryugi as an engine, I don't know. As a deck, it's not too bad. As an engine, I'm probably just gonna place it in Not Worth, because if like, what are you splashing this in? Like in Voice's Voice, I guess. But like, you can also play pure Voice's Voice or Voice's Voice Raziel. And those builds, they have never proved themselves to be, like, really great. So that's, like, my main problem. It's like, people keep talking about them, but people are never doing well with them. I only see, like, pure Voice's Voice ever doing well. So that's my biggest issue. And then the Nemesis Engine is very interesting as well. I don't know if I'm going to place it at number 1 of great option, or maybe here or here. I don't really know. But I have seen some really cool things where people are playing, you know, Regenesis, Fmith, Bestial, and it definitely feels like it makes sense. So yeah, you just splash a lot of good engines with each other, and you just pray it works out, and sometimes it does. And this is like a very recursive engine, just like the Fiendsmith cards and the Bestial cards and the Primite cards, etc. During your opponent's end phase, like, you recycle back like freaking 4 cards from your graveyard to your hand. You got a trap card that revives back infinite monsters from your graveyard. I mean, again, I've been a witness to like this deck's like how annoying it is, and the trap card especially. It's like one of the most frustrating cards to play against. It resets everything back. Like, you got rid of like their recursion, and then all of a sudden they all come back. They all keep recycling themselves back. They never run out of gas. So I don't know. It's a cool engine, but it doesn't have synergy with enough cards in my opinion, just because like your monsters still have to have like 2500 original attack or defense. Otherwise, like, these cards are really just bricks in your hand. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this best engines tier list. You guys let me know how you feel about, you know, what are the best splashable techs and engines that you can play in your deck right now before we get a Duelist Advance, and also, I guess, before we get Orcus, Dragon Maid, and Pun cards. But then again, I will probably just make an update when we get them. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.